In 2012, Credit Suisse came to me and said, there are no women at Davos. We really want to create an evening where we bring out the women of impact, the women who are making decisions, the women who really need to get more, attention at the World Economic Forum. And somehow they always end up, squeezed off onto the side of a panel or whatever. Let's make an evening that's really focused on bringing out important and influential and decision-making women. So that's when we decided to create the Women of Impact dinner at the World Economic Forum. And it began straight away as an enormous success, because it turned out that there really wasn't anything happening at WEF that was really just focused on powerful women and their stories. And the really different thing about the dinner is that although we do have very important women always, every year, who make their contributions and who are interviewed, there's also always one really moving, powerful story of a woman that no one has heard of, but who is a hero in her own world and in her own way, who has something to say about tremendous odds that she overcame. And that really stops the traffic. I mean, people just sort of suddenly get off their iPhones. They suddenly stop thinking about where am I going next, which is the big thing at the World Economic Forum. They're really engaged with the heartwarming or heartbreaking story of a woman who has had to face down with Boko Haram, who have had to deal with ISIS, a woman who has been in prison, a woman who has been fighting for justice. This is really something that people don't hear. They hear about issues, but they don't hear stories. So what I think we have contributed with the Women of Impact dinner is storytelling. We bring the stories to Davos, we make these really influential people, we invite them to come, and they are actually asked just for 20 minutes in their crowded day to listen to a story of true human endeavor, true human courage, and it moves people tremendously. And then we'll hear from a person who has many answers and many solutions. For instance, one year we had an amazing woman who had started a Bring Back Our Girls campaign when the schoolgirls were stolen in Nigeria. She was absolutely extraordinary. Then we heard from Melinda Gates, who's a person who takes these issues globally, and deals with issues in Africa about, vaccines and birth control and all of the things that she's working on. She was also incredible, but she was more interesting in the context of a woman whose story you just heard that broke your heart. So it's our role, we feel, to invite all these major influencers and opinion formers, and they love to network, but then they are held spellbound by a real story, and that's what they go away talking about. And that is what I feel we can contribute to WEF, which is, after all, a place which is a marketplace of ideas, where people meet to exchange those ideas and pollinate their own causes, their own companies, their own approach to life, their moral values. This is what really is the spirit of WEF. And so I think it's an important contribution that we've made.